Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia, and today we will be talking about the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins. I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but I see so many videos of Mel herself or other people talking about this theory. I first heard about it from my hairdresser, and then I looked into it, and it's truly changing my life. I have not yet read her new book called The Let Them Theory, but I will be purchasing that and reading it when I'm done my current book. If you haven't heard about this, I will explain it here, but I do recommend listening to her podcast about this and looking it up on TikTok or Instagram. I have been seeing so many clips of Mel talking about it, and I've been reposting it like crazy because it is so genius and I'm obsessed with it. I'll be honest, when I first heard about it, it sounded to me like you just let people do whatever they want to do to you, but that is not what it is at all. Basically, the theory says if people are talking bad about you, let them. If someone is doing something you don't want them to do, let them. If people are making fun of you for what you're doing, let them. You have zero control over other people's behavior or actions. What you do have control over, however, is how you react to the situation and what you do about it. If you let other people be themselves and treat you how they want, they will reveal exactly who they are. Then you can decide whether or not you want them in your life. There are people in my life right now that I know I want to be in my life forever. If I am making that decision, I have to accept them for who they are. I can set boundaries, of course, but getting upset about their behavior or what they do is just a waste of my time and energy. I am never going to change who they are, and I can go blue in the face trying to change them or change their perspective. But again, I am never going to truly change them. They will only change if they want to change and make that change themselves. Now that I have realized this, my relationships with certain people have improved so much. I no longer get annoyed or mad about what they do or how they act. I am so much more patient and loving with them. Now, this isn't to say you should accept bad behavior or a toxic environment. That's not what this is in my case. If you know me or listened to this podcast before, you know I do not tolerate disrespect or toxicity. I'm talking about the little things. Getting mad at someone for not taking your advice, or doing something you know they shouldn't, or reacting a certain way to a silly situation does absolutely nothing for you. If they want to do that, let them. I used to get so worked up when people did things I didn't want them to do, but now I let them and do things for myself that I want, and I feel such a weight off my shoulders, my anxiety has lessened, and I feel so much more free. If someone is in my life and they've revealed to me who they are through their words or actions, and I do not like that and don't think it's worth it to have them in my life, then I won't. I still accept them for who they are, but I choose to distance myself from them. Once you accept that people are who they are and there is nothing you can do about it, it is so freeing. You can then decide what you want to do and whether or not you want to continue to have a relationship with them. Only they can do the work. The only person you can truly change is yourself. You should still tell people how you feel and how their actions affect you because you don't want them to walk all over you. But once you've said your piece, it's up to them what they want to do with that information. They can accept it and do better next time, or they can ignore your concerns and keep treating you that way. At that point, it's up to you what you want to decide to do next. If people that I don't know, like a stranger or someone from work, want to be rude to me, I have to just accept it for what it is. I can't change their behavior. All I can do is control how I react to it. Why would I let them affect me? I know it can be easier said than done, but remind yourself that what they are doing is a reflection on them and not on you. Other people's behavior has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Don't take it personal. When I say don't take it personal, I'm not talking about feedback from other people. You should absolutely consider their feedback because it could be a good growing moment for you. I'm talking about people treating you poorly, like being rude to you or doing something you don't want them to do. Another example of this is when you're in a grocery store and you're in line and it's taking a long time. You could be annoyed at the cashier, or you could just let them do their thing. If you're driving and someone is driving slow in front of you, let them. You don't know what they're thinking. I know I am a lot more patient with vehicles since my accident, and my road rage has disappeared for slow drivers. Now, of course, I get annoyed with people doing reckless things while driving, but that is out of fear. However, I want to implement the let them theory here too because I know it'll help me remain more calm on the road. Also, I think it's important to note that other people's emotions are not your problem. Your emotions are your responsibility, and their emotions are their responsibility. It sounds simple, but I have spent almost my entire life being so careful about other people's emotions and walking on eggshells to make sure I don't upset anyone. Why? I'm not their parent. They are an adult and should be able to handle their own emotions. If they can't, that's not my problem. That's not to say I'm not kind. I try to always lead with kindness, but if what I say or do elicits a negative emotion in you, and I had good intentions, and it doesn't actually affect you, then it's not my problem. I think people, myself included, get so emotional about what other people do, when in reality, it has absolutely nothing to do with us. Why am I getting upset about someone not going to therapy, not going after their dream, talking negatively about something? If they want to do that, let them. Another thing this theory taught me is to not care so much about what other people think. I think deep down, everyone cares to some extent, but knowing people will talk about you no matter what you do is actually quite freeing. I saw a video, and I think it was Mel Robbins talking, but they said people will talk about you no matter what. You can think they might say something like, "Oh my God, how embarrassing is it that she's posting that or pursuing that?" But what if they say the opposite? What if they say, "Oh my God, it's so embarrassing that she is holding herself back and not posting because she's scared"? People will talk about you no matter what. So why are we holding ourselves back? We only have one life in this body. Why are we letting the opinions of others dictate how we live our lives? That's kind of insane when you think about it. Who cares if someone doesn't believe in you? Believe in yourself. On your deathbed, are you really going to be thinking about what so-and-so from high school thought about you? Or are you going to think about all the accomplishments you had? Or maybe the things you wish you did? In the end, nothing matters except how you feel about your life. You are the only person living it, so only your opinion should matter. I saw a TikTok clip from Mel's podcast where she talked about posting on social media, and it opened my eyes so much. We post for other people, not ourselves. We contemplate if our photo is post-worthy and what our caption should be, but we never ask ourselves if we like the photo, if we like the caption. We are giving power to other people's opinions, and we don't even know what their opinions actually are. Again, you have no control if people gossip about you, unfollow you, whatever. The only thing you can control is what you think of yourself. If you use the let them theory, you are taking your power back from other people, and it is so empowering. I literally feel a weight off my shoulders when I think about this. This translates to off social media too. We are constantly thinking about what others may think of us. Should I wear this today? What are people going to say? Should I talk to this person? What if they think I'm weird? Who cares? Do it for you. And yes, I need to take my own advice. I am still a work in progress on this, but I have implemented it into certain areas of my life, and the things I started using this theory with, I feel pretty successful at. The other night, Paul and I were taking turns asking each other questions, some deep and some lighthearted. One question he asked me was, what do I want to work on this year? My answer was the let them theory. I told him I am so sick of letting other people's opinions, emotions, or actions dictate my life. I want to live life for me. I went on a full rant to him about it because I feel so passionately about this. I think if everyone utilized this theory, the world would be a much calmer and more mature place. Obviously, this will never happen, but I do hope people will hear this and consider it. I mentioned in a previous episode that I was starting 75 Hard again, with some differences, because I can't exercise still because of my injuries. I've been posting about this on social media, and I felt this pressure to keep going, even though I knew I really didn't enjoy it this time around. When I did the program the first time, the biggest thing I enjoyed was the exercise. It made me feel so good and energized. Since I can't exercise, I feel like I'm just on a super strict diet and I'm not really seeing any reward from it. I am also feeling worse about myself for not being able to exercise because of it. I feel pressure to get better faster so I can exercise because this program doesn't feel enough for me without it. I knew it was getting toxic and I made the decision to stop doing it. So I'm not quitting, but I am going to transition to a softer version. Still doing those habits because I enjoy them and they're good for me, but allowing myself some freedom with it too. If I want a celebratory drink, I want to have it. If I want to go out for dinner and have something that normally wouldn't fit my meal plan, I want to do it. Once I am healthy in my body and can exercise intensely again, I'm going to consider doing the full version again, but the version I was doing was not enjoyable and caused me more stress and anxiety. It's not worth it at that point. My point is, I was so worried about what others would think of me for not completing the program. I wanted to just finish it because of what other people may think. Once I remembered the let them theory, I was like, wait, why do I care? If I'm not having a good time and it's actually causing me more harm than good, then it's my decision to make and no one else's opinion matters. Only I know what's best for me and I should make decisions on that, not what others may think. It's funny timing actually with this podcast episode. On the day I planned out this episode, I had to have a chat with some kids about other people's behavior. They were getting frustrated with other people's behavior and actions, and I talked to them about this theory. Obviously, I didn't use these exact words, but I asked them if what those people are doing actually affect them or not. I told them throughout life, people are always going to annoy you or frustrate you, but you have to learn to just let them be. Everyone is unique in their own way, and there is nothing we can do about that. If it's not actually affecting you, just ignore them and walk away. I'm sure it'll take many years for that to actually sink into them, but I hope I provided them with a new perspective. Also that same day, I saw this quote and it relates very much to this theory. The quote said, "The quality of our relationships with others depends heavily on our motives. If we're trying to change our friends to correct their behavior or improve their lives, we'll ensure a poor quality of friendship. The only life we have power over is our own. Trying to fix other people isn't only futile, it's disrespectful. Chronic fixers are likely to attract people who seem to cry out for their services. Over time, the situation usually proves to be a setup for frustration and anger. Self-respect begins inside ourselves. Real consideration for others demands that we treat them with the same respect we'd like to receive. There's no such thing as telling someone something for their own good." I feel like everything was super aligned that day. There is no way I am ever going to change someone, so why waste my time and energy trying? It is only going to lead to frustration. I challenge you to use the let them theory in your life. I promise you, you will feel such a shift in your energy. I feel so much more free and relaxed when I use this theory. I am a very empathetic person, and when other people are feeling sad or mad, I feel that very deeply. I also lived most of my life trying to make others feel comfortable and happy. But since I started using this theory, I am seeing people for who they truly are, and I feel empowered knowing I can make a decision with that information that's best for me. I can decide if I want to accept them for who they are and set boundaries and keep them in my life, or accept them for who they are and walk away from them. It is truly such a freeing feeling. I also recommend reading Mel Robbins' book on this and listening to her podcast. Like I said, I will be purchasing this book before I finish my current book and reading it next. I am very excited to dive even deeper into this theory and implement it into all aspects of my life. I truly believe it will be life-changing. If you start using this theory or have read her new book, I'd love to chat more about it with you. Send me a message on Instagram or post on your story and tag me. The more people hear about this, the better we all can be. That is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting me. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could rate and review this podcast and share it with someone you think would benefit from it. I really want to grow this podcast to reach more people so I can share my story and thoughts with others. If you have any questions or want to chat more about today's topic, or have any topic suggestions, feel free to message me on Instagram at growthroughit.pod. Thank you again, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.